Hello students, welcome to the lecture section on induction motor drives, part 5 under module 3. Today I am going to discuss the topic braking of induction motor drives. So earlier also I have discussed about the braking. Okay, so let us once overview on the process. Braking is the process of reducing the speed of any induction motor. In braking, the motor works as a generator and developing a negative torque which opposes the motion of motor. I repeat here, during the braking, it develop a negative torque which opposes the motion of motor. Okay, so here the various methods are employed for braking of induction motor. Okay, namely regenerative braking, second one is plugging or reverse voltage braking, third one is dynamic or rheostatic braking, further categorized as AC dynamic braking, self-excited braking using capacitors, DC dynamic braking, zero sequence braking. Okay. So the first one is the regenerative braking. Okay, regenerative braking. So the regenerative braking, as last previous lecture session I have discussed, the braking, regenerative braking is the machine is acts as a generator. I repeat here, the motor which it will be acting in the first quadrant as a motoring operation. During the regenerative operation, that is quadrant 2, what it will be happens, the power developed by the machine, because machine is acting as a generator, which it will be feeding back to the supply. So this is called the regenerative braking. Let us analyze the three-phase induction motor, how the regenerative braking is obtained. Okay, so the power input to any induction motor is given by P in, power in is equal to 3 VIS cos phi s. Okay, so where V is the stator voltage. Just a moment, I will show you. Okay, so here this is the equation, power in 3 VIS cos phi s. Okay, where phi s is the phase angle between stator phase voltage V and the stator phase current IS. Okay, for motoring operation, the phase angle is less than 90 degree. I repeat here, the phase angle phi s is less than 90 degree for motoring operation. Okay, so if the rotor speed becomes greater than synchronous speed, I repeat here, if the rotor speed becomes greater than synchronous speed, relative speed between the rotor conductor and air gap rotating field reverses. Due to this, what it will be happens, this relative speed between the rotor conductor and air gap rotating field reverses. This reverses the rotor induced EMF and rotor current and component of stator current, which balances the rotor ampere turns. Okay, consequently what it will happens, the phi s becomes greater than 90 degree and power flow reverses, hence giving the regenerative braking. So the conclusion point is here, for the motoring operations, the phase angle will be less than 90 degree, and for regenerative braking, this phi s will be becomes greater than 90 degree, because what it will be happens here, if the rotor speed becomes greater than synchronous speed, relative speed between the rotor conductors and air gap rotating field reverses. Due to this, the power flow will be reverses. Okay, so the magnetizing current required to produce air gap flux is obtained from the source. Okay, so these are the, already I have discussed about this equation 6.1 and 6.13 in the part 1. Okay, when we are analyzing the three-phase induction motor equivalent circuit. Okay, so here, except that slip is negative, the nature of speed torque characteristics is here. Okay, so this figure, regenerative braking, the motoring operation we will get here. Okay, as the speed is above the synchronous, the regenerative braking will obtain here. Regenerative braking will obtain. Okay. So now when this regenerative braking is possible, because when the fed from a source of fixed frequency, regenerative braking is possible only for speed greater than synchronous speed. So yes, in the figure, yeah, we have seen here the regenerative braking is only possible above the synchronous speed. Okay. And the next one is with a variable frequency source, it is can also be obtained for speeds below synchronous speed. Okay, ns is equal to 120 f by p if you are varying the frequency, so that we can vary the synchronous speed. Hence, the variable frequency source, it can also be obtained for speeds below synchronous speed. Okay, so the third point is here, when regenerative braking is employed for holding motor speed against any active load, stable operation is generally possible between synchronous speed and the speed for which braking torque is maximum. So next main advantages of regenerative braking is that generated power is useful employed, means the power is generated by the machine which it will be feeding back to the supply, okay, so that we can usefully employ. Okay, so the main drawback is that when fed from a constant frequency source, it cannot be employed below synchronous speed. Okay, because if you are applied for a constant frequency source, it cannot be employed below synchronous speed. Okay, so here the regenerative braking explanation is over. Okay, once I will conclude here. Okay, so here regenerative braking, the phase angle will be less than 90 degree. It acts as a motor. Okay, when this phase angle phi s will be becomes greater than 90 degree, the power flow will be reverses, giving the regenerative braking. Okay, so further when it is fed from a fixed frequency, regenerative braking is possible only for speed greater than synchronous speed, and with a variable frequency source, it can also be obtained for the speed below synchronous speed. Advantage is what? The generated power we can usefully employ. Okay, and the main drawback is what? The constant frequency source, if you are using, it cannot be employed for below synchronous speed. Only we can use for the above synchronous speed. Okay. Next one is the plugging or reverse voltage braking. Okay, so here how the plugging or reverse voltage braking we are obtaining. Okay, when phase sequence of supply of the motor running at a speed is reversed by interchanging the connection of any two phases of stator with respect to supply terminal. Okay, so here any one supply terminals we are interchanging. So what it will be happens with respect to supply, the terminals operation shift from motoring to plug. I repeat here, when the phase supply of the motors running at a speed is reversed by interchanging connection, means R, Y, B is there, so R and Y you are interchanging. So here what it will be happens, the doing so the operation shifts from motoring to plugging. Okay, so here the characteristics is given for a negative phase sequence from quadrant third to second. Okay, reversal of phase sequence reverses the direction of rotating field. I repeat here, the reversal of phase sequence reverses the direction of rotating field. If the slip for plugging is denoted by Sn, so here we will get the 2 minus S. In case of wound rotor motors, a resistance equal to twice this starter resistance is inserted in the rotor to limit braking current to starting value. Okay, so this also increases the braking torque as curve is shown here. I will show you. Okay, so let us I want to clear here this point, what it is, the slip ring induction motor. So slip ring induction motor, as we know, we can add the external resistance to the rotor circuit. Okay, so the resistance is equal to the twice the starter resistance is inserted in the rotor to limit the braking. So here what it is there in case of one rotor motors, resistance equal to the twice the starter resistance is inserted in the rotor to limit braking current to starting value. Okay, this is only possible in the slip ring induction motor, not squirrel cage induction motor. Please note it. Okay, this also increases the braking torque. So this is the characteristics, natural characteristics. Okay, without external resistance. I will explain here. Okay, so now, so this is the motoring operation. Okay, this is motoring operation. Motoring operation will be shifted to the plugging. Okay, so here if we are adding the resistance in rotor, this we will get. Okay, so if you are looking to the here, the more torque we will get here, more torque we will get here. Okay, in plugging. So plugging in fourth quadrant with extra large external resistance in rotor. So here if you are adding the extra large external resistance in rotor, so that we will get the this quadrant to the this quadrant. Okay, fine. So already I explained all these things. Okay, and one more thing is here need to observe. So what it will be happens when, okay, so here what it will be happens, the one more point need to concentrate. So here the torque is not zero at zero speed. So if you are looking to the here, the torque, take it as any natural characteristics or with adding the resistance. Okay, so the both the cases we can see in this one. Okay, so what it will be happens, the torque is not zero at zero speed. When used for stopping the motor, it is necessary that the motor should be disconnected from the supply at or near zero speed. So what it is there, if you want to stop the motor, so at any this point, at any this point, okay, okay, at any this point, and here this is a natural characteristics, this is the rotor resistance is added to the rotor. Okay, so this characteristics. Okay, now when we want to stop the motor, okay, so what we have to do here, if you are looking to this characteristics, what it will be happens, as soon as it will be reached here, it will be accelerated in the reverse direction, because this is the speed in reverse direction. It will becomes in third quadrant and the motor will be drives in reverse direction. So if you want to stop the motor and use it for stopping the motor, it is necessary that the motor should be disconnected from supply at or near zero speed. So as soon as it will be reached here, we should disconnect. If you are not disconnected, what it will be happens, the motor will be drives in this reverse direction. Okay, it will be operate under third quadrant. Okay, so this makes it necessary to use additional device for detecting a zero speed and disconnecting motor from the supply. To activate this means we have to do this job. So what it is required, some other additional device for detecting zero speed and disconnecting motor from the supply. Okay. And this type of braking usually it will be suitable for reversing the motor. So such type of braking is employed for reversing the motor, because what it will be happens, as soon as it will be goes to the zero speed, it will be drives to the in reverse direction. Okay, as motor is already connected for operation in reverse direction, torque is not zero at zero or any other speed. Motor smoothly deaccelerate and then accelerate in the reverse direction. Accelerate in the reverse direction. Okay. Okay. So next one is the dynamic braking of induction motor. Okay, dynamic braking of induction motor or rheostatic braking. So here the first one is motoring, and another one is here the B figure, 2 lead connection, and another one is 3 lead connection. So in a 2 lead connection, here we are disconnecting the one phase, any one phase we are disconnecting. Here in this case the phase A is disconnected and B, C are let it be connected only. Okay, so this connection is called 2 lead connection, and 3 lead connection is the disconnected A is connected to the B. Okay, this connection is called the 3 lead connection. Okay, already I explained. Okay, so what it will be happens when we are disconnecting from the supply, let us I'm going to discuss here now. Okay, when connected to a single phase supply, so it's nothing but what the out of 3 phase we are removing the one phase, it is called single phase. The motor can consider to be fed by a positive and negative sequence. Okay, 3 phase set of voltages. Net torque produced by machine is sum of torques due to positive and negative sequence voltages. Already I have discussed in the part 2 the positive and the negative sequence torque and voltages related issues. Okay, so here the net torque is sum of torque due to positive and negative sequence voltages. When rotor has a high resistance, okay, I repeat here, when the rotor has a high resistance, the net torque is negative and braking operation is obtained. Okay, so the motor analysis for 2 and 3 lead connections is done follows. I will explain here. Okay, so this 2 lead connection, so here this is the resistance, externally it is connected to the rotor circuit. Okay, so please note it here, the slip ring induction motor only possible to connect the external resistance to the rotor circuit. Okay, now here 2 lead connection, as earlier I explained, the any one phase we are removing. Okay, so here what it will be happens, 2 lead connection, assume that phase A of Y, okay, connected motor is open circuited. So what it will be happens, then IA current, because the phase A is removed, so IA current will be become 0. Okay, IC is equal to minus IB. Okay, so what it will be happens, this current, because A is disconnected, so the IB current is equal to, IC current is equal to minus IB. Okay, okay, so these are the positive and negative sequence component, IP and IN. Okay, so here the positive and negative sequence components are equal and opposite. If you are looking to the here, the both the components are equal and opposite. So here the voltage to be applied to this series combination will be, so here I will get next slide. So the voltage we will get here. Okay, so the equivalent circuit also we can plot. Already I have discussed in the part 1 equivalent circuit. Okay, and here the speed torque curves we give the figure, it will be B is speed torque curves. Okay, so here what it will be happens, although the values of positive and negative sequence components of current are equal, the corresponding torques are not, equal. So hence what it will be happens, the net torque positive sequence and the negative sequence. Okay, okay, positive sequence and the negative sequence, the net torque we can see here, the nature of speed torque curves for positive and negative sequence curve, and the net torque is shown here. As the rotor resistance required is large, as dynamic braking of induction motor can only be used in wound rotor motors. Okay, so here the dynamic braking with the 2 lead connections, so that we will obtain here. And one more thing is what, dynamic braking of wind motor can only be used in wound rotor motors because the external resistance is added in rotor circuit. Okay. So here next one is 3-lead connection. So what it is done here, 3-lead connection, the any one phase is removed and connected to the another one. Okay, so here the A is disconnected and connected to the B. Okay, so phase A and B are connected together. Okay, these are the equations. Okay, so the positive sequence and the negative sequence. Okay, so here with respect to the 2-lead connection, here the magnitude of positive and the negative sequence components of voltages are equal and not the positive and the negative sequence components of current here. Okay, there it will be the current was there, the previous one, 2-lead connection. So here the magnitude of positive and the negative sequence components of voltage are equal and not the positive and the negative sequence component of current. Okay, so thus higher braking torque are obtained compared to 2-lead connection. So this is one point to be noted here, the higher braking torque will be obtained as compared to the 2-lead. Okay, the nature of speed torque characters will be same as this one only. Okay. Next one is the DC dynamic braking. Okay, next one is DC dynamic braking. Okay, it is obtained when stator of induction motor running at a speed is connected to a DC supply. So now I am going to explain how the DC dynamic braking is obtained. Okay, so it is obtained when the stator of any induction motor running at a speed is connected to a DC supply. So stator you are disconnecting and you are connecting to the DC supply. Two commonly used connections here also, there are two commonly used connections, 2 and 3 leads for star and delta connected stators. I repeat here, the star and delta connected stators. Okay, 2 and 3 leads. And as I mentioned here, the DC supply you are connecting to the stator. Okay, disconnecting the AC supply and you are connecting to the DC supply. Okay, so here the DC supply is required. So hence a method of getting DC supply with the help of a diode bridge for 2-lead connection is shown here on figure is there. Okay, so before that these are the various stator connection for DC dynamic braking. Okay, so what it is here, the first one is the A and D are 2-lead connection. A and D are 2-lead connection because if you are looking to the here, so A and B it is connected the DC supply, and similarly here also this is a star connection, this is a star connection, and this is the delta connection. So 2-lead connection. Okay, similarly the figure B and C are 3-lead connection. B and C are 3-lead, and this is a star again, two phase A and B, in between there it is in between A and B this DC supply is connected. Okay, similarly here also, but here C and B are shorted. Okay, so this is called 3-lead connection, 3-lead connection, whereas in this no shortening, only in between A and B it is connected DC supply, and no shorting between C and B. Okay, here also in between it is connected the DC source. So A and D is 2-lead connection, 2-lead connection, and whereas the B and C is 3-lead because C and B is shorted, C and B is here also shorted, here also shorted, and A and B there is a supply is connected. So these two are the 3-lead connection. Okay, yes, So as earlier I have discussed the DC supply you are connecting. So now the DC supply is obtained from the bridge rectifier. Okay. So here if you are looking to this is a transformer. Sorry. Okay. This is a transformer and this is a bridge rectifier, and here we got the supply A and B. Okay. So this is the details of two lead DC dynamic braking connection. Okay, so what they will do, they are connecting this DC supply to the stator. Okay, okay. So here, so in an induction motor, dynamic braking is achieved by disconnecting the motor from supply lines and connecting the stator windings to a DC source. Okay, so now I will explain the briefly what it will be happens when you are applying the DC supply. Okay, how we are getting the braking. Okay, so now the DC current flowing through the stator. Okay, what it will be happens, you are disconnecting the main supply and you are connecting. Okay, main supply you are disconnecting, here switches are used. Okay, now what we are doing, we are connecting the DC supply, we are connecting to the DC supply. Okay, what it will be happens, DC current flowing through the stator produces a stationary magnetic field. I repeat here, when you are supplying the DC supply to the stator, it produces stationary magnetic field. Motion of rotor in this field, because the rotor is rotating. Okay, so motion of rotor in this field induces voltage in the rotor winding. So what it will be happens, the field induces voltage in the rotor winding. The DC flux cuts through the rotor and induces the EMF. So what it will be happens, the rotor is rotating when you are applying the DC supply to the stationary stator. So the stationary magnetic field, okay, it will be produced. Okay, as the rotor is rotating, okay, what it will be happens, this DC flux cuts through the rotor and induces the EMF. So hence the current in the rotor, this current after interaction with the DC flux produces a retarding torque on the rotor. Okay, hence the braking is obtained. I repeat here, what it will be happens, this current after interaction with the DC flux produces a retarding torque on rotor. So hence the braking is operated. And here what it will be happens, the generated energy is dissipated in the rotor circuit resistance. Okay, so hence thus giving the dynamic braking of induction motor. Okay, this is the information related to the DC dynamic braking. Okay, so now I conclude this. So DC dynamic braking will be obtained by disconnecting the supply and connecting to the DC supply. So what it will be happens, the DC current flowing through the stator produces stationary magnetic field. Then what it will be happen, the DC flux cuts through the rotor and induces the EMF. Hence the current in the rotor, this current after interaction with the DC flux produces a retarding torque on the rotor. Then generated energy is dissipated in the rotor circuit resistance, thus giving the dynamic braking of induction motor. Okay, so with this I conclude this session. Okay, thank you, have a nice day.